Today we have a very special guest. We have a leader in medical education, not only in the Middle East, but he is an international figure in medical education worldwide. Today we have Professor Hussam Hamdi, Chancellor of Gulf Medical University. First of all, I would like to welcome you, Prof. Hussam, in the Deanship of E-Learning at Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University. It's actually, we are very happy for having you with us today to learn from you, to have your reflection about how the future of medical education would be in the next 10 or 20 years. If you allow us to reflect with some questions on your presentations, would you mind on that?
No, not at all, of course.
You have been discussing the future of medical education, and you have been stressing on the role of e-learning, the role of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And the big questions that might arise in a situation like this, how can we integrate machine learning, how can we integrate artificial intelligence within the curriculum of a dental or medical college? As we learned from you that integrations is very important for the delivery of the materials, and would be this as a form of interprofessional training, or would we have a course that is would run parallel to the other courses in the dental or medical program? Can we have your vision on how can we integrate machine learning or artificial intelligence in dental and medical curriculum?
Thank you, Dr. Hisham, for asking this question, which it has two components, two elements, I think. It has the element which you have alluded at of having multiple learners from different backgrounds, and they're learning something together in an interprofessional education forum. The second component is concerning learning, particularly the technology, whether it is artificial intelligence or other type of technology which is part of their learning, is part of their life, is part of their practice. I think the issues, for example, like which are common courses in higher education, not only in health profession education, they get courses in computer sciences. And I think the students now are beyond what used to be a few years back. They are native of the technology. They know about the technology. So the traditional or classical teaching of computer, I think, will change. That's one thing. I don't expect them to be software engineers or to be programmers, but they have to understand the science of this technology, what is meant by artificial intelligence. Sometimes there is big confusion between artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and so on and so forth. And I believe that as a learner and as a future practitioner, they will be able with colleagues, either maybe from other type of education, engineering, that they can together advance the knowledge once they understand the principles, because they will be sharing the same language and they understand each other's. But we have to create the environment which allow this. And that's why several programs they can be offered to multiple learners from different background. So regardless, not only in health profession, they could be from different backgrounds, and actually they will enrich the experience of the students. So the educational system has to adapt to this and to break the walls between the learners who are within the premises of the university. This can be definitely even better learned when through e-learning, because they don't have to be all of them in the same classroom. So there are structural changes there are educational changes, there are educational environment changes which has to take place to support this. In addition, they have to see the application of this technology and sciences in their regular practice. So the artificial intelligence, all the data which are collected from patients, what happened to them, how this big data analysis takes place, how the access to information, the access to guidelines, the decision-making process. They will be living in an environment which is heavily dependent on technology. So they have to learn the technology. So technology and technology sciences will be one of the important pillars which will continue from year one, day one, and it will continue with them even after graduating from their programs.
Thanks very much for your answer. This was a very informative answer. My second questions, you discussed in your presentations teamwork and leadership. And as we learned from you, you consider this not the soft skills, you consider it the hard skills because it's difficult to teach and difficult to assess. My question is, universities and different academic institutes grant degree based on individual performance. How can we encourage teamwork within our curriculums, or encourage teamwork within the candidates of a dental or a medical school, while they are having in their mind that by the end, the individual performance is the one which would get rated or graded? Thanks very much.
Well, you are touching on, I know, an interesting point, particularly in the Middle East culture, which still the students are very much concerned about marks and things like that. We have to understand that working in team or becoming part of an effective team and to translate this into an individual mark, it will be very artificial and it cannot work, and you have to change the mindset of the students and of the faculty. Because the practice of healthcare, the practice of medicine will not be dependent on the individual healthcare provider.
Correct.
It's a collective effort.
Correct.
Of the physician, the dentist, the nurse, the pharmacist, the helper, everybody around the patients, and the different systems related to that. So I believe that this has to start early and becomes part of a habit that they are working together. I give you a concrete example. In my institution, which is a Gulf Medical University, which is a specialized medical university, the students from medicine, nursing, pharmacy, and other specialty related to health, they work together from year one around one project every month. They work in small groups of 8 to 10 students on a project. So it will be a sort of a project based, like I remember this month they're working together on patient safety. Maybe next month I think they are going to work on gene editing and CRISPR's technology. You come and say, but what the nurse needs to understand this? Yes. It is not only the content, but it's how they can work together. So it becomes a habit, even before going and being embedded more and more in the healthcare environment, in a hospital.
Correct.
or in a clinic. So this needs the support from the institution,
Correct.
support from the faculty, and then everything will be recorded through reflection, through activities, and it will be on their electronic portfolio. So you will find that longitudinally in their curriculum on the pathway towards graduating and toward leaving the institution, they will have enough evidence which can demonstrate they have been involved in this type of practice, and gradually it becomes part of themselves. So it is too late to start to talk about interprofessional education when they are in an advanced phase of their educational program.
Yes, so you agree with me that competent individuals might make incompetent team.
Yes, of course, of course.
Thanks very much. Very informative answer. My third question is about academic healthcare systems. And it's from your presentation, it seems like there would be some sort of marriage between different academic institutes, colleges, and the community practice or the different healthcare facilities that would be run by Ministry of Health. This marriage, how can we guarantee that all our graduates would have an equal opportunity in training, especially if they are going to get some sort of rotations among different hospitals with different consultants with different backgrounds? Do you think this could be a real challenge for having that sort of equal opportunity in a curriculum that is defining competency or defining outcome-based entrustable professional activity as a part of its goal? Thank you.
Yes, I'm a big believer in academic health system and health centers. And you've mentioned that the Ministry of Health or government involvement. And I would like to indicate that academic health systems or health centers doesn't need to be only provided through public or governmental institution. I believe that even the private sector will play a very important part in education. And we are underutilizing a lot of private healthcare centers, hospitals and clinics because they are private. I think it is possible to include the private and to become part of the academic health system, because they are a system. They are inseparable from the healthcare delivery of a community or of a country. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Of course, it needs regulation and it needs training of those who will, at least in the beginning, volunteer to play this role. The second part of your question concerning can we guarantee that the educational experience
Exactly.
in the different places will be the same? The quick answer, no, definitely we cannot, because the workplace is not it changes. It is not idealistic. It is more opportunistic.
Correct.
Depending on the patients coming on that day, depending on the nature and the nature of the healthcare provided by a hospital or a clinic or a primary healthcare center. Each of those healthcare delivery sites, they have an educational power. They have a unique educational experience which will be learned. So you cannot guarantee that.
Yeah.
But it is expected that over a period of time, They are starting, the learners themselves, starting to navigate between this and accept that we cannot cover everything.
Yes.
The disease known as coveritis should not affect us, but the role of the educational institution is to facilitate and provide different learning experiences. But to guarantee what will come inside, it will be very difficult, because we cannot at the end produce a 100% photocopy of the graduates. Each graduate is a human being, is different, has his differences from others. But we ensure that they have a core of competencies which allow them to move into the next phase of their development after they graduate. It's a continuum between the undergraduate and the postgraduate, or after the graduation, and beyond that, the lifelong learning, which should take place in any profession, even not only health profession. I think every profession should have this continuum of development of the professional.
Fantastic. By the end of these discussions and by the end of Professor Hassan's presentation, we'd like to thank him very much for being with us, and we'll see you again in another presentation. Thank you.